Alex Howard, and welcome to this short video. So in this video I wanted to explore a question that comes up sometimes in the context of ME chronic fatigue, and more specifically fibromyalgia in the ME chronic fatigue picture. Without going into any great detail, fibromyalgia is obviously its own set of symptoms and picture, very similar to ME chronic fatigue in many ways. One of the defining differences being the presence of chronic ongoing pain with fibromyalgia. Now, there are many facets and many things that influence this. So my purpose in this video is not to reduce this down to just one idea. There are many things on a structural level that can be impacting pain, many things on a nutritional level, such as magnesium deficiency. There's many other elements to this, but I just wanted to come at this briefly more from a psychology perspective. And this may sound initially like a little bit of a wacky perspective or way to come at it, but you know, the interesting thing that we're always after is what's the difference that makes a difference, and however wacky that might be, if it helps people, then that tends to be more than anything what's important. So one of the ideas that we've come across, and we've noticed to be helpful, is that sometimes physical pain can be the result of emotional pain which has not been fully processed or been fully digested. And you could look at this on a very physiological level, that if we've got emotions that we're tightly holding onto, that let's say that we've got almost like a knot in our stomach and it feels tight because there's something which has not been released or not been digested, to use a kind of digestive analogy, that can affect us just on a purely muscular level. There can be a tightness and a tension that's going on there. And over time, if that's chronic, that could lead to chronic pain. It's also true to say that if we've got something that hasn't been digested, the unconscious has to have a way of storing it and holding on to it. And if we haven't dealt with something emotionally, it also makes sense that on a physical level, we're actually in pain. Now, there's some interesting research, fascinating research around, in psychology, what's called the pain loop. And the relationship between pain and how we respond to that pain, the attitude we have to that pain, if we reject that pain, if we're sympathetic towards that pain, if we keep thinking about that pain. So we know from the psychological research that the relationship we have to pain has a significant impact. And often if we change that relationship, it can at least change the quality of the pain, or even just how we are with the pain, which can have a big impact. But a book that particularly interests me, and I've had a number of patients that have read that have been found very useful around pain, is a book called Healing Back Pain by John Sarno. You can go and check that out. It's on Amazon. You can go and have a look at it if you're interested. And a lot of what this book is built upon is this idea that in the concept of the book, back pain, but it also stretches out to other forms of pain, is emotion and often anger, but can also be sadness and other feelings, which is being held onto. Often the case is when we talk about this in this way, some people go, it just totally doesn't make sense, doesn't resonate. Other people can have a sense of, that's really interesting. I can have a sense that may be what's going on. And if that is the case, I really encourage you to check out the book. I encourage you to certainly make contact with the psychology team at the clinic. One of the most powerful ways that we've come across to heal emotional pain, and we've often seen impacts on physical pain, is using emotional freedom technique. So a way of tapping on certain acupuncture points whilst being in touch with certain feelings and helping release them. So I recognize some of these ideas may be a bit challenging and may be kind of interesting to think about initially, but really encourage you to explore. If nothing else, working in this way can at least change how we feel about our pain, but certainly in a number of cases, it can actually have a significant impact on the pain itself.